Aye. Let's see. So I'm in one, but where's my number? Where's my? I have a feeling it's probably Susie's main one that I'm in. Meeting. Oh no, this is a completely different ID. Copy link, right? I'll put the link in and send it to you, and then I'll send it to everybody else. Okay. Right. Okay, see you in a minute. Right, bye.
In spite of all the I know you're a good guy.
Sorry, girls, this is technology at its best, so let's hope she can get into this one. Okay. This is Susie's one. Let's hope Susie's not needing it. So there we go. Okay. So for those that haven't met Paige, I have got the pleasure to introduce her because she's been she's helped me so much in my business in the last 3.5 years. And Paige is here to help everybody in the business as well, those especially, or everybody, but especially the ones that really want to grow the business and take it running forward for the next 90 days, basically, because we've obviously got success trips that a lot of us are looking to go on. And Paige has been in this industry for 28 years, but in this company for probably about 17, I think, 17, 18. So
just turned 18, September 30th.
So Paige knows everything that there is to know about what we can do in this business to make it happen. So what I'll do is I'll pass it over to you, Paige, if you want to take over, and then if you need me to do anything else, I can jump in as well.
Sure, just give me a time, what you're needing, and I'm happy to do that.
So why do everyone say 9:20? We're all okay for 9:20? Yeah, perfect. So we've got 25 minutes roughly.
Okay. Well, and I can make this interactive too. So for those of you I haven't met, I look forward to meeting you in person, doing everything Zoom. I live in California. I live in Santa Barbara, very close to the beach. Actually, we run there all the time. It's a mile away. And would love to have you guys come out here because it's really fun. But I also love coming to the UK and visiting in person. It's just everything's a little bit difficult with travel at the moment, but it's a temporary thing. It's a good opportunity. With great adversity comes great opportunity, with the ability to help more people. More people are very aware they need to have their own source of income, not dependent on a job or a boss or a store or a salon or a restaurant, or a brick and mortar type of business. I came from the medical field. I have a master's degree in speech pathology, and I did stroke rehab for 20 years. I was burnt out. I was looking for another opportunity, and I learned about leveraged income. And once you learn about leveraged income, you will become psychologically unemployable. And I saw the opportunity with this company. And if you go back a little bit to this last Friday OTG call, I was the guest that Ed DeRitter, Ed and Gary DeRitter are very dear friends of ours. It took me 4 years to convince them to come over to this company. And it wasn't really convincing. It was just perfect storm. They were in my upline in the past company I was involved in. but you can hear more of my story there rather than taking all of your time here. But I saw the ability to leverage income. I saw the ability to help more people. I wasn't interested in the skincare part to begin with. In fact, I was horrified with the thought of it being new skin because I had horrible skin, horrible. And Sunday's usually my down day. I have no makeup on. I'm just sitting, chilling at my house. But I wouldn't ever have been able to do that before. I had acne and sun damage and pregnancy mask and you name it. My skin was horrible. But I joined in this company at age 42 and watched my skin reverse. The longer I used the product, I thought, oh, this is interesting. Nutrition from the inside out and fantastic gene expression skincare from the outside in. And because of that, and because of the science, an opportunity that's unprecedented. So I have made millions of dollars in this industry, just shy of $10 million in commissions. But that's not about me. That's just about me connecting the dots and helping people around the world be able to offer the opportunity. When Dan McCormick offered this opportunity to me 18 years ago, he said, you know, you should be making at least $20,000 to $50,000 a month. And I thought, yeah, sure, I agree. Who's going to pay me that? Come on. Even with 2 university degrees, I was only making about $60,000 a year. And I was working my butt off. I was working 6 days a week and everything. When I wasn't working at work, I was bringing all my medical charting home with 2 small kids. And I thought, this is ridiculous. You know, so I was looking for a way to have a better lifestyle. And I knew the industry done correctly was the sweetest fairy tale, but it's a fairy tale come true. We're done poorly with the wrong company. It's a nightmare. So I came to this company, as Dan said, with a lot of skepticism and attitude, but an open mind and an open heart. I knew who Dan was. I knew what he'd done. I knew some of the leaders that were over with this company. And when I saw it, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep for weeks. I couldn't sleep. I went out very quickly in the business. I did 9,000 points in volume my first day in the business, and then was Ruby within 90 days after that and never went backwards. Went to Blue Diamond, went to Team Elite very quickly, created a lot of Blue Diamonds and Team Elites underneath me. But, and again, I didn't create them. I just facilitated. I led from the beginning. I led from the front. I followed a duplicatable plan with my upline, and we just duplicated in that organization. What I want you to understand right now is that in 28 years in this industry, this is a perfect storm. You know, this is where you don't have to convince people that jobs aren't safe. You don't have to convince them that owning their own business will take them under. You don't have to convince them that taking care of their own health from the inside out is important. And shoot, dang, I don't know where you guys are, but our beauty salons just opened at 25% capacity yesterday, day before, I think Friday. So, you know, people are like, what do you have to make me look better? I mean, in World War II, it was the cosmetics and alcohol industry and tobacco industry that took off faster than anything. Women want to look better, you know, they want to look younger, and men do too. So if you've got the products that can do that and you understand, you know, what the real opportunity is with this. When I looked at the average Blue Diamond, now it's not even finding 12 business builders, it's 6, but finding 6, you know, a couple of which really want to do the deal. So you focus on those 6 and you start building teams and start building structure. But the average income was about $500,000 a year. And I thought, I know CEOs that aren't making that of big corporations, $500,000, not just in income, but in leveraged income, meaning once you build it, it keeps growing. Sure, you get attrition, but if you're in the game and you're still doing the deal, people drop off. You know, people give up on their dreams, just like everything else, on marriages, on careers, on, you know, you name it, on athletic pursuits, they give up on it. So you can't make them succeed. But if you match your energy with them and you get in touch with what drives them, you know, what's their why? It's more important than the how. What drives them? I was $100,000 in debt when I started this company, and I thought, I don't have extra income to, you know, to put into this. I certainly don't have extra time. I had 5 hospital contracts. I pseudo professionally ballroom dance and compete all over the world, which is super fun. But to have a couple of hours to dance every day and to be able to spend money on that sport, I mean, I had no extra time, but I carved out very specific, very focused periods of time in each day. I was very consistent with my efforts to be able to get to Blue Diamond in 6 months. But I will say, there are times where you could work really, really hard and it would be a slower process. This is one of those windows where if you work really hard, you can move very quickly because of the vortex of what's happening with energy around the world with this COVID upside downness, where everybody's unsure, everybody's uncertain. So to have a way to make yourself more secure through something you can do through the comfort of your own home, anywhere you go. Like when I travel, I still have my phone. If I have my phone, I'm in business. I just have to figure out what time zone I'm translating into. That's the only challenge. But my world clock app on my iPhone makes that. So that's pretty brainless too. My phone can do all the thinking. So I want you to understand you have the most dynamic team in the UK and one of the most dynamic teams in the world right now with what's happening with Susie, who was the first blue diamond in Scotland ever. I mean, she was the only one. I saw her on my volumes and genealogies. And that year, the company sends us to pretty magnificent trips all over the world for 1 week each time. And that year, it happened to be a 1 week in Paris, downtown Paris at the most grand hotel right across from the Opera House. And I looked at Susie's volume and I thought, are you kidding? She has 9,000 in volume. Who is this girl or woman? I didn't know because she was, several levels deep in my organization. And I called her and said, hey, we've got to fly over you anyway. I have family in Scotland. My granddad was born in Scotland. And I thought, can we come visit you and, maybe do a meeting for you? Little did I know what I was stepping into, a friendship that would last forever. She's come over and stayed with Chris and stayed here with my husband and I too. But that led to her going on to Team Elite. We're celebrating that right now. Rachel being, an amazing, one of the first blue diamonds there, and Shelly right quick on her heels. I mean, we're developing a team right now that's moving really, really quickly. And I wanted to introduce myself, and I'm grateful to Shelly for suggesting this, but let you know I'm very much a part of your team. I'm very vested in seeing each and every one of you hit your goals. What I will tell you is dream big, dream really, really big. You won't serve anybody by dreaming small. Most of the income begins at brand rep. So you want to do that faster is better. Why waste your time taking a long time to get there? Just get there. Get there in a day if you can. Who do you know? What kind of center of influence do you have? What kind of influence do you have over that center? And it's really not even about you. It's about who you connect with and who they know. In connecting the dots, my organization's grown into 34 countries, not because I physically did that, but I talked to people who knew people in other places. And now I have business in 34 countries. So it's a fun ride. It's an amazing journey. It is a personal development journey masquerading as a business because you've got to become the person you want to attract into your business too. Not 100%. I've watched people that have developed a little bit and just been fortunate. They've sponsored somebody who's been a monster player. It happens. It happens all the time. But for your odds of having that happen improve, you need to do the personal development. You need to learn to believe in yourself. And for women, sometimes that's a hard thing to do. We multi-juggle everything, families, jobs, homes, everything. And to carve out time where this is so sacred that maybe, your income initially isn't huge, but when you understand the magnitude of what it can turn into, it's incredible. And it is, the best one word I can describe is freedom. You will have ultimate freedom to hang with who you want to hang with, be where you want to be, travel where you want to be, as soon as we're able to travel again, to be able to, have fun with people all over the world. If you want to do that, to be able to write checks for things that are, personal to your heart, be able to help your children, your family. It's a magnificent thing to be able to do with the best products in the world that get fabulous results. So let me open it up to questions if I can be responsive to any questions that you guys may have. Anybody have any questions?
Come on, you know you want to.
I had a billion questions in the beginning and I didn't know who to ask them of. And I would call the company and ask them. And I'll tell you this, if the company employees knew what we knew and how to build the business, they'd be on the other side of the fence. They're great about specifics, about products and what's in the products and details like that. But strategy on building the business, ask us. Feel free, write down your questions and ask us on if you want to go fast, if you want to go slow, whatever your goal is, how much you want to make, by when. What I'm doing with a call that we're calling the level up call for people that really want to go fast is it's a countdown. It's basically 90 days to New Year's Eve. When you go to bed at midnight on New Year's Eve, where do you want to be when you wake up on New Year's morning? What do you want to have accomplished? How much do you want your new skin check to be? Do you want to go to Mauritius with us? And if not, why not? It looks pretty incredible to me. It's a different market than the one where I physically live. We're in the Americas market. I'm like, I want to go to Mauritius. What do I have to do to go to Mauritius? So we started on success trips and built huge teams that went on success trips together. We're looking for those that want to go on those trips with us. It's just an extra perk that you get for doing what you need to do to be successful anyway. Right? It's a pretty nice perk. I know I'm coming to London next. Well, they just pushed our Team Elite trip from May next year to October next year. And then our New Zealand trip, which was supposed to be this February, early March, which was canceled due to COVID, is now pushed to Portugal next fall. So I guess we're going to do those together. And then my daughter is actually going to come over. We'll do Scotland as well. But what questions are in your head? I'm an open book. I'll be totally transparent.
Paige, I've got a question.
Sure.
So
Laura,
when you were hi Paige, when you were so busy at the start because you had so many different things going on, when you had your pockets of time, what did you prioritize?
I prioritized new people and follow-ups, and appointments, those three things: new people and follow-ups and appointments. And I would get up, I know it'll sound crazy, but I would get up at 4 a.m. It's the only time the house was quiet. I would get up at 4 a.m. I would do like 20 minutes of reading, because then I would just either that or I'd try and fit it in at night, but it's harder for me to do that at night. I would lay out exactly what I was going to do during the day. Consistency was my biggest key. I did the same thing every day. And I wouldn't let a weekend go by and say, I'm taking the days off. I would always be thinking, I'd even be thinking in the shower, like, who am I going to reach out to? When am I going to see them? I would call between hospitals to set up appointments. When can I see you this week? I need to talk to you. You need to see what I'm doing. You'd be so awesome at this. This may or may not be for you. And then I'd follow up. Some people needed 5, 7, 9, 11 times before they said, I'm not interested, but maybe I have a friend. I'm like, okay. And I wouldn't give up on them if I thought that they'd be good until they actually said, please don't call me about this again. And Sierra did a call not too long ago, my daughter, where she said, my mom was like on me with what it would take, like 30 calls a day in outreaching between. She's got a really busy veterinary practice and a now 4-year-old, but 3-year-old when she made that decision. And she was in charge of all of the cooking, all of the cleaning, full veterinary practice, the 3-year-old. And she goes, I don't have any time. I said, that's why I'm trying to help you. You have to carve it out. You have to schedule it. And she said, my mom said, call again. And she said, and I was thinking there was a fine line between hassling somebody and inviting them. But after several exposures, some of her strongest leaders came on board. I called one gal once a month for a year before she finally picked up the phone and said, okay, spill your guts. What is it? You got to tell me what it is and what's the name of the company. I said, I knew you'd answer. She went on to become a Blue Diamond. It's like, it took me a year. Gary DeRitter, it took 4 years to create a $5 million earner in my downline. It was worth it. But, we raised our family together. I was very specific in time mapping my day so that my priority was not my job. And I know that sounds horrible, but I knew what I was doing. I could do my job in my sleep. I really didn't. It didn't stimulate me. It made me sad. I was dealing with stroke patients, and it wasn't the patients, it was the families I was spending more time with. I wasn't getting paid for that. And the administrators were saying their insurance is done. You can't see them any longer. And I'm thinking, they can't swallow safely. They will drown. I need to see them. So it was emotionally taking my energy away. So I would go to work thinking, okay, I'm thinking new skin. I'm going through the motions of my job, thinking new skin. In between breaks, in between patients, waiting for a patient in the bathroom, I'd go back to my office before the nurse brought the patient down. I'd be writing down who I was going to call or quickly send them a text saying, hey, I'd love to meet with you for coffee this week. But I was constantly thinking about strategizing who I was going to call and going through numbers. It wasn't ever about convincing any one person or two people. It was about going through numbers to find the right ones. And I think that that was one of the biggest things that made a difference, because I didn't get stuck. And I had plenty of people say, oh my God, that company's been around forever. That's just ridiculous. That'll never work. That's a dinosaur. It's been around 20 years. You look at the mainly girls that are killing it right now. I mean, breaking all the records. We're 36 years old, but they were saying that when the company was 20. And I just went, la, 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 can't listen to that. Do my little 15 minutes of personal development every morning, strategize every single day, and get to work. I'd talk to as many people as I could. And then when the day was done, I stopped cooking too, guys. I totally stopped cooking and marketing. And my husband was kind of frustrated with that, truth be told. And I said, well, if you're hungry, then he goes, I'm hungry. I said, great, there's the pantry. You know, you're a great cook. So he started the marketing and the cooking, and that doesn't work in all relationships. But I said, look, you know, my check hit 2,000 and then it hit 10,000. He said, okay, so maybe I'll pick up the slack a little bit here. I'm like, and I didn't tell him my check was 10,000. Scott Schwartz, the president of the US at the time, he's the one who said in a gathering to my husband, so how's it feel to have a wife making 10,000 in new skin a month right now? And he looks at me, and Scott looks at me, and Scott goes, oh, I guess that he doesn't know that. I said, no, not yet. Because it was bonuses. It wasn't real to me yet until it was on ADRs, but it was 24/7 in my DNA and how I was thinking about it. I mean, that sounds horrible. I'm seeing a patient and I'm thinking about, okay, who am I going to talk to next? But that's after 20 years of doing the same thing, it was pretty rote to me. I knew what I was doing. Does that help? It was all day, every day, and what I was thinking. None of it was casual. And honestly, the other thing that's fun is when you get somebody strong under you that, you know, sometimes the person underneath you is stronger and decides, I'm going to run with it. And then it's like, oh, and I've got a couple people in this situation right now where they've got a line going crazy. They're like, oh my gosh, I better go wide to get paid on the depth. Oh my gosh, wow, look at that go. I didn't know it was going to be that easy. I said, that easy? You've been doing this business for 7 years and you finally have somebody that's taking off. Now you're seeing when you talk to the right person and connect with the right people, it's easier than trying to convince the ones where they have to go through the personal development and the struggle still. So you never know what anybody else's journey is. And that's why you can't compare to anybody else, because you don't know what their story is, what their backstory, what their drive is, how hungry they're going to be with this. I'm so excited for you guys. I know where you are. I know the window that you're in. And, you know, those of you that have been with us for a little bit and those of you that are brand new and never done this before, you got this. You've got a team that's going to take you as huge as you want to go. Right now, I want the biggest group of rubies. You only need to be a ruby to be on the Mauritius trip. That's awesome. That's only 4 people. You may have to go through 100 people to get those 4 that really want to do it. Maybe it's 40, you know, maybe it's 10. I don't know your center of influence, but 4 people that are like-minded that say, yeah, I'm interested. I mean, and honestly, it's pretty hard to look at your team of stars and not be inspired. You know, it's like people don't get recognition in the regular world anymore. And right now there's so much darkness and there's so much uncertainty, and it's easy to drop into the dark. Be the light, shine the light always. And it doesn't mean you're always running around happy and, oh my God, this is so great. You know, we all get thrown into the dark every once in a while because regular life hits us. I'm no exception. I've got a mom who's been in and out of the ER. I've got some physical things with Laird he's been challenged with. You know, it's kind of like we've got a son who was unemployed, who is still unemployed 6 months later, who is living with us. He moved back home. I mean, he was at the top of his game, world-class athlete, top of his game in his profession for 7 years and let go during COVID. You know, everybody has their stuff, or the parents that are trying to homeschool their kids at home now while they're trying to do their job from home, while they're dealing with their husband at home. You know, it's like, oh my gosh, does it get any crazier? Focus, 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 focus. Learn to time map and know when you're on. If you can't be on all the time, know when you're going to be on with your new skin business and when you're going to be prospecting, when you're going to be following up, when you're going to be inviting, when you're going to be connecting with your upline, who maybe is more powerful, especially in the beginning, sharing stories that that person can relate to. When someone goes, oh, it's too expensive, I go, really? It's too expensive to buy the Lumi Spa, which is going to make you look beautiful and make you look younger. Huh? Well, if it's too expensive, then you better look at the business instead of the product. Because I, as a lady, as a woman, I would be horrified if I would have to, go get permission from somebody to be able to spend something on myself personally. I'd be horrified. I couldn't do it. I'm driven the opposite way. Let me make enough money that I can make my own decisions and buy what I want, when I want, without looking at the price tag. So what if I could show you how to do that? And then you'll get people, their heads will spin around and they'll say, what did you say? And it's true. If the opportunity were there, would you be open? And sometimes it's hard for people to leave good or mediocre or even painful for something that's extraordinary, because the pain is familiar, and breaking out of that pain, all your dreams are beyond what you're comfortable with. So you have to learn to get comfortable being uncomfortable. That's the only way you're going to make your dreams come true. So think bigger. There's so much on the line with this right now. And, honestly, you'll look back a year from now, maybe 2, maybe 5, and think, what was I waiting for? My gosh, you look at all those other success stories. How many success stories do you need to hear before you believe that you can do the same thing? Right? And it's just about taking action. That's it. There's no secret. Many of you guys are working too hard, and it's not going to get any easier. You've got to work smarter. You've got to go through the numbers to find the right people, because the job's never going to set you free. And those of you in the aesthetic industry and the fitness industry have an unfair advantage, because you totally get it. You understand it. You're around chemicals all the time. And most of the people that I work in the salon industry, I scan them and they flatline. They have no score because of all the chemicals that they're around, whether they're manicurists or whether they're doing hair or perms or color or whatever it is. One of the newest executives we just brought on board, she owns a ballroom dancing studio and a salon. They've been hit hard financially. Both have been shut down. Then I talked to her, I said, Diane, what if I can show you a way to pay for your dance, to be able to live your dreams, to travel where you want, when you want, and never worry about either of your businesses shutting down? She goes, keep talking. She goes, I'm interested. So she just broke executive month before last. She's one of the newest ones taking off. So you never know where it's going to lead. Talk to everybody. Plant the seeds. And the other thing I was telling Lisa earlier, I'm very available and very much part of your team. I will do almost anything to help you guys get where you need to be. I'll give you very transparent coaching, very honest coaching, but happy to take you, one-on-one too, with Shelly's help, and be able to help you guys achieve your dreams. Because there's probably people on this call that could go from 0 to Team Elite very quickly, very quickly. I mean, nobody was doing it when I came on board, but I had a very strong sponsor. Actually, Lawn Wardrobe was my sponsor, but Dan and Lawn are kind of partners, and nobody was going Blue Diamond. And as I listened to Lawn, he was saying, go Blue Diamond in a day. And I'm like, right, who does that? Well, Lawn went Team Elite in a day, 15 legs wide, never went backwards. And he and I both have been 17 years qualified Team Elite since the day we signed up. But I was following a rocket ship. So I thought, well, I needed to go like a rocket ship, or I wasn't going to get any of his help. Nobody in the company was doing that. After Lawn, I was the first Blue Diamond, and then Peggy was the second. Somebody slipped in as the third, and then Peter was the fourth under Peggy, who led to Susie. So it's like we went bam, bam, bam. And because the three of us did that all in succession, it created belief in the US industry. So we can do the same thing for you guys. You can go fast and furious, just follow in the wake of what Susie and Rachel and Shelly are all doing right now, because Shelly's going to go right to Team Elite. So we're looking at this team very carefully right now and saying, okay, who of you guys want to run with this? Who of you want to run with this path and go really quickly and get this done? Because this is what it looks like. And if you don't want to go that fast, there's nothing wrong with that. People can take it slower. They can go casually. I mean, a really good friend, Eileen Williams, took 12 years at Lapis before she decided she was sick and tired of being a Lapis. And she was going to go crazy because she watched me, she said, prance across the stage. She goes, she's so elegant. She's just prancing like this is so easy. And she thought, damn it, what's wrong with me? Lopez for 12 years. And she got busy. She started calling like 30 people a day. And she led to somebody who actually just went Team Elite, Jim and Carol Hazelton, or not Hazelton, Hideki, who sponsored Alan Nagao. And Alan Nagao is kind of a legend in the company, as many multi-million dollar industry or multi-million dollar workers, earners underneath him. Terry Tu, An Nguyen, Dean Nguyen, he has the entire Vietnamese country under him. So she went from basically Lopez to Team Elite very quickly after 12 years of sitting at Lopez, because she was just sick and tired of sitting there. So you decide. But the window right now is so incredible. Sorry, I'm just going to sneeze. It's so incredible that I just want you to know this. It isn't always like this. This is just amazing the way it is right now. So take advantage of us. Use us. Anybody else have any questions?
Paige, it's Lisa.
Yes.
Hiya. So I'm just thinking of some of the girls on this call. So you're saying like you can fly with it in one day, or so for people that they've got their goals and they want to get to that goal for the end of the month. What does that actually look like for them in terms of getting up tomorrow morning? What are they going to do first thing? Like, what are they actually going to do? Are they going to just message 30 people? Is it social media posts? Like, what do they actually need to do? What is their massive action to get the goals?
It depends on what they already have set in their schedule. So if they've got work and they've got 4 little ones, then it's going to be a little bit different. But even that, I mean, all of us have distractions. All distractions are equal. You've got to look at, obviously family is an important one. That's an important distraction. But making sure everyone's eating and that they're all safe, that's an important distraction. But other than that, the others are distractions. So, I mean, for me personally, I always had to get up earlier than the family so I could map out exactly what I was going to do that day. I didn't build my business on social media. I'm watching people go faster on social media than we did because it's a bigger net. You can cast out to more people. It's still about taking them offline as fast as possible so you can create that relationship and that bond, if you will, that you don't generally have on social media. But it's both. It's both. So if it is posting and you have a big influence that follows you, and actually you guys haven't met her yet, but there's a very strong influencer we have in our group. Her name is Kiki Ely, and she's amazing. She mapped out all her posts on Sunday and they were all auto done so that Sunday was her day to do all her posts for the whole week. And she had them going out at certain times, the whole thing. I mean, I'm like, it was way beyond what I could do. But she had 1 million followers. She went from 1 million followers to 5 million followers on her blog. It's called Blonder Ambitions. But as I watched her, and she did it on social media, and she went from 0 to diamond very quickly. It was a different way of doing the business than I have, but it was still just as methodical in laying out how many contacts, how many posts. I mean, as I listen to the girls that are really doing it with social media, the key is not so much posting on your own wall. The key is referral posts. It is 100% referral posts, asking friends, hey, I'm repping this line. I'm so excited about it. And, would you help me get the word out? If we sell 2, I'll give you 1 3. Creating birthday clubs where people want to be part of it because they get recognition and a little token of something. And it's kind of like this girl club where, from the birthday club comes the other piece. Well, what are you doing as a business? There's a business associated with the birthday. I mean, just little creative things like that, but really finding every nook and cranny in the business that you can do. When we did it the old fashioned way, we would do conference calls. We didn't have Zooms, but we'd do audio conference calls. So 3 times a day, we'd have live conference calls that we'd plug people into to listen to, like a 10, 15-minute business opportunity meeting. And then we'd call them afterwards and say, what'd you think? How did that go? It's when you have a lot of people plugging in and you have a lot of guests, it's fun. If nobody plugs in, then it doesn't work. But when I'd launch somebody and say, okay, so Lisa, we're launching you. Let's get 20 of your closest friends on a call. I can do a call for you in 2 hours. Call them up and say, I can't explain it, but it's super exciting. Just take 10 to 15 minutes of, listen with an open mind. It may or may not be for you. I don't know, but once, maybe twice in your life, something comes your way. This might be it. Would you be open to listen? And so they're listening going, well, I don't even know what I'm doing. you didn't say that much about the company yet. We put them on that kind of a launch call or a conference call. And then we'd call all those people afterwards and say, on a scale of 1 to 10, where did you see yourself? Not interested, or hanging from the chandeliers, swinging with glee because you're so excited, or where somewhere in between, and they'd say, oh, maybe like a 7. Well, what would it take for you to get to like an 8 or a 9? And they said, well, I'd like a little information on, how does that work? And what are the average income, blah, blah, blah. We said, we can get that for you right away. The easy thing with posting is now we can say it costs nothing to get involved. You just do a couple of posts. You never know which ones are going to go viral and which ones are just going to, flounder and die. I get skunked when I do posts once in a while. I go, well, that didn't work very well. And then you do one where you sell like 90 of the product and you're thinking, why did that one go and the other one didn't? I don't understand. There's no crystal ball. You just get it out there with no emotion attached. So those girls that I've been talking to lately that my daughter's networking with, they're doing like 5 referral posts a day. That's a lot of work, but they're working 30 to 50,000 in circle volume. That's a nice check. That's a check over 20K a month. Now that sounds hard to me because there's no leverage in that. Once you make that sale, it's done. The next month you start all over again. It's a sweet check. It's a great way to get started. The trick is then taking those people that are really comfortable buying product and saying, look, there's a business associated. You love the product. Let me show you how you can make money with it. And that's how you start building your team. So it's that transition in talking product to talking business. A lot of people come from loving the product and then turn into business builders. But that consistency and time mapping it throughout your day, I think is one of the most critical pieces. Susie talks about the 90-day journal, and every time she wanted to do a quantum leap, she used the 90-day journal in making that happen. Because then you can really track it. And my daughter had said on that, she did the same thing. She said what she hated more than anything is when you write all your tasks down for the day that you're going to do, and you look at it at the end of the day and you go, oh, there's so many that I didn't get to. She goes, the worst punishment for her was having to write the same tasks on the next day. She said, I would do whatever it took to get it done so I wouldn't have to write that onto the next page. That was the 90-day journal. Yeah, map it out. And the best thing, you guys, honestly, is you're starting early in the month. If you start early in the month with your goals and your strategy and your team and say, okay, what are your goals? And you go through each person in your group, say, what's your goal for this month? How big do you want to dream? Because honestly, I look at my team, which is pretty dang big, counting all of you guys. But then I'm like, okay, if I know their goals and how motivated they are, I know how much time to allot to give to that person. Because if their goals are very small, it's like, well, okay, I'm not going to shift that. I'm going to go work and spend most of my time with the people who have the bigger goals and make that happen. That's where I will allot my time. So I'll look at that. In fact, I was just redoing my dry erase board for this month on who, like, I've got many of your names circled on my dry erase board because I'm watching what you're doing. I'm like, okay, already lapis, we can go ruby. In fact, my favorite thing to do with people right now is we bypass ruby and we do emerald. It's like you get ruby for that long of a time because you're ruby emerald in the same day. 4 legs, one of those legs is a leadership team with 10K. So I will work with that 10K person a lot to help the person on top get to that emerald position. And then we're just looking for one more to do the same thing. I mean, it's a stair step building thing. And that's where it becomes really fun. So I map it all out.
Fab, thank you. Thank you so much, Paige. I could sit and listen to you for hours, but obviously we're late already. Has anyone got any more questions for Paige, or is all good to go, ready to go with your goals? Like Paige says though, because this is the thing when people come into our team, and it's very much that, oh my God, Paige is in America, she's a total different world for us, I can't really work with her. It's the complete opposite. People actually get stage fright from you, Paige, don't they? And they've got that. It should absolutely not get that at all. It is.
Yeah, and I'm more Scottish American anyway, because I'm a McDougall. So my heart's in Scotland. It's between California and Scotland. I would say, friend request me if you're new and you're not already on Facebook with me, because then we can go back and forth on Messenger too. And make sure that if you have people add themselves to Paige Riffle Business Training Group, if you just want to see what we're doing in America or what I'm doing with that. but just let me know you're adding them. I know there's like 100 people trying to get into that group right now. And if I don't know who they are, I don't know if they're in my group. So if they're in your downline, just say, you know, Lisa Murray's, you know, has invited so-and-so into that group. And then, because you guys will get a group in America. It'll happen. It's just a matter of time. It's inevitable. And then when you do, we can help with all the promotions and everything that's going on here too.
Definitely.
And follow
Fabulous.
Sierra too. Shelly can plug you in with that because it's worth following my daughter. She's
In
she's
fact,
better.
she's better. She's amazing. She's beautiful. But I done an interview with Sarah a few months ago, actually, on Team of Stars. I'll maybe put that back in here so you can see
Oh, that's fun.
Sierra's journey as well. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that.
welcome.
Thank you.
Fun
And
talking
thank
to
you
you guys
everybody for
Sunday.
sorry. Definitely. Thanks for taking your time, Paige. We really appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. Thanks you guys for turning up and asking questions and participating.
Yeah, there'll be more questions later when they're all at Ruby. They'll be like, quieten them down.
I love it. I love it.
Fab. Right, ladies, thank you so much for coming
All
on.
right.
Thank
Good night,
you.
Bye.
Look forward to